Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Danny Man Talks Wrestling with me, your host, Danny Man. We got some new champs in the WWE. Let's talk about who's going to dethrone all of them. Before we get to that, though, make sure to hit that button to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm trying to post every day, so let's be on this journey with me. All right, first off, we have our newest champ, Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer just won the championship at WrestlePalooza. What a terrible PLE, by the way. It was the only good match on that PLE. But anyway, she won that championship there. Who do we think will dethrone her? Well, she's probably not going to have a feud for a while. Her next match is probably going to be the Crown Jewel match against whoever the women's WWE champion is after Friday. So it's going to be a while, I think, until she defends that championship. I do think that eventually the person that she's going to lose it to is going to be Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan should be coming back any day now, pretty soon in the next couple of months. And I think she's the one that comes back and takes that championship away from her. I don't think she's going to have a very long run, but that's okay. We don't need her to have a long run. But I think that's going to be one of her major feuds that she'll be having, and I think that eventually she is who will be taking that championship away from her. As far as Tiffany Stratton is concerned, she does have that triple threat match on Friday Night SmackDown against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. I think, there's been speculation about Tiffany possibly being injured, and I think that this is where they take that championship away from her. I think that on Friday, we have a new champion by the name of Jade Cargill. I think Jade has kind of been towing that line between heel and face, and I think she might be turning completely heel on Friday. I think SmackDown is hungry for heels. We need a heel champion to defend it against some baby faces. I think Stephanie Vaquer against Jade Cargill is a decent match, and I think that they want to have that match between two brand new champions. Anyone but Nia. Just anyone but Nia. I'm okay if Tiffany keeps it. Just anyone but Nia. The Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. And I think we all have the same idea here. I don't think I'm saying anything groundbreaking. I think the person that dethrones Becky Lynch is going to be AJ Lee. I think AJ Lee got her to tap again at WrestlePalooza. Which kind of justifies her getting a title shot, and I think she comes in and she wins it. Why not? Let's build this women's mid card with AJ Lee and the Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, I think my pick for dethroning Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship is going to be AJ Lee. On the SmackDown side, we have Julia as the U.S. Women's Champion. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. There's really no stories there. Let's give it to Michin. Why not? She's been going after her for a while. I say, let's just have Michin win the championship, and I don't know. Let's do something better. The main concern here isn't who's going to dethrone her. The main concern here is where is that mid-card division for the women of Friday Night SmackDown. The women's tag team champions currently they are Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I think they've been a pretty good champion. They're on this never-ending feud right now with the Secret Service. But I think that the team that ultimately will take those titles off of them are going to be Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I think that they are working towards a story where Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are working together as a tag team, and I think eventually they go after the women's tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and I think ultimately they are the ones that dethrone Charlotte and Alexa for the women's tag team championships. On the men's side, we have the WWE Tag Team Champions on Friday Night SmackDown, the Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. I forget his name. I'm sorry. We have Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis as our tag team champions on Friday Night SmackDown. They're currently in this feud with the Street Profits, where the Street Profits are probably going to break up. They're probably going to break up, and it's all going to be because of the Wyatts. Who will ultimately dethrone the Wyatt Six for those champions. I mean, that SmackDown division is amazing. I really want to say Pretty Deadly. I love Pretty Deadly, and I wish WWE would push them more. Pretty Deadly are one of my favorite tag team characters in the entire WWE. I think ultimately it's probably going to end up being. I'm going off on a limb here, but I think ultimately the team that's going to dethrone the Wyatt Six are going to be Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. We saw Melo and Trick kind of reunite at that NXT show a couple weeks back, and I think Trick is ready to come on to the main roster, and I think ultimately it's going to be them two. I think Melo and The Miz are going to have a falling out. They're going to have a feud. Trick will come out to help Melo, and then kind of they'll reunite as a babyface. As this babyface tag team. I don't think that'll be for a while, though. I think the Wyatts are going to hold on to these championships for a few months. But I think ultimately, I'm going out on a limb and saying Melo and Trick. On the Raw side, oh boy. We got Finn Balor and JD McDonough as the world. I have to look down at my notes because I can't remember the difference between these two championships. They are the world tag team champions. Man, that Raw tag team division is just not. It's just nothing great, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying anything new here, right? But I don't know. I think ultimately it will be the Americanos. I think that this feud between Finn and Dom, and then Dom having this friendship with El Grande Americano, and Finn kind of being a little jealous of that friendship and relationship, I think ultimately will result in two of the Americanos challenging for the tag team championships against JD McDonough and Finn Balor, and then ultimately the Judgment Day losing that championship. And maybe that's when they break up, right? Maybe Dom chooses to help the Americanos over Finn Balor and JD McDonough, and that's where we get the ultimate breakup of the Judgment Day. So yeah, I'm choosing. Man, I love the way I booked this. This is awesome. I think I'm choosing the Americanos beating the Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Finn Balor for the World Tag Team Championships. Speaking of the Judgment Day and Dom Mysterio and Finn Balor, Dom Mysterio is our current Intercontinental Champion. Like I said, they've been teasing this ultimate breakup. They've been teasing this breakup that's eventually going to happen within the Judgment Day. And I think that Finn Balor is going to be the one that dethrones Dominic Mysterio. Dom has a match coming up against Rusev. I don't think they're willing to put that championship on Rusev. Although, considering the way Dom's been acting, I don't know if Judgment Day want to help him win. But maybe the Americanos help him win, right? I don't think they're going to put it on Rusev. I do think eventually, once the Judgment Day breaks up, it'll be Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, and Finn Balor comes out on top. And we finally get a singles championship for Finn again. Let's come on. We need Finn in our lives. We need more Finn. We need better Finn. On the SmackDown side, Sami Zayn is the U.S. champion. I think eventually he loses it to Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu has been off our screen for a while, but he's doing this open challenge. I think eventually it's Jacob Fatu who comes out to challenge him, and a babyface Jacob Fatu comes out on top, and he dethrones Sami Zayn. They have been teasing this whole thing with Solo Sikoa again, and him being like, I disappointed my family, I need to win this gold back. I do think eventually he'll win it back, but I think the person that dethrones Sami Zayn is going to be Jacob Fatu. Seth Rollins, our World Heavyweight Champion. Man, I want to say CM Punk really, really bad. I want to say LA Knight really, really bad. There's a lot of people I want to go after this championship. I do think that Seth Rollins is going to hold on to it for a very long time. I mean, not Seth, not a Roman Reigns amount of time, but just a decent year-long run. Um, I think Gunther comes back. I think Seth Rollins beats Gunther. And I do think that ultimately, I know I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm going back to it. Eventually, it'll be CM Punk that dethrones Seth freaking Rollins for that championship. They've just been teasing it too much. It's the ultimate goal for CM Punk. I think it's a WrestleMania match, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the championship, and I think CM Punk wins that. On the undisputed side, Cody Rhodes, right? Or two-time undisputed champion Cody Rhodes. Lost it to John Cena, won it back from John Cena. He's been feuding with Drew McIntyre. Will he, won't he, with Randy Orton. Will Randy Orton turn heel? Won't Randy Orton turn heel? But I think ultimately the person that dethrones Cody Rhodes is none other than Jey Uso. I think they're teasing a Jey Uso heel turn. I don't think he's gonna be, one of those like ultimate heels, like kind of like Roman was. He's gonna be, just a guy who just looks after himself. He still comes out and eats with the kids and stuff. But I do think he turns on Cody and he's like, "Look, man, I need that championship." And they go after it, and I think that Jey Uso ultimately comes out on top. Maybe this is also a WrestleMania match. I don't know, but I do think that ultimately Jey Uso, we saw him on Monday Night Raw. He was eyeing that title like, okay, what's up? So I think that Jey Uso ultimately turns mini heel and goes after that undisputed championship, and we get another Monday night, main event, Jey Uso. Anyway, short and sweet video today. Hope you enjoyed it. These are just my thoughts on who will dethrone who for these championships at WWE. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know if you agree. You definitely disagree on some of these, so let me know in the comments. But anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for joining me. I don't know. This is just fun to talk about. Who knows? Who knows? In 2 weeks, the way WWE goes, a new player comes, they sign MJF, and then MJF wins all the championships. Who knows? Right? But let's see how this goes. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Peace.